Excited today. We're getting real stuff. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your revenue, like really looked and thought, this should probably feel a little bit better than it does? Yeah, you're bringing in money. Your clients are happy. The work is probably really, really solid. But at the end of the month, profit still feels like a finish line that just seems to move every time you get close. If your business is growing, but your bank account and your piece haven't caught quite up yet, today's your moment. Because we're going to unpack the single most misunderstood element of your business, profit. Why it feels elusive, why it slips through your fingers, and how to take it back. Here's what most people actually get wrong. They treat profit like a reward, something that shows up if you just do everything else right. If you hustle hard enough, if you hit your goals, if all the stars align perfectly. But profit isn't a prize. Profit is a decision. And if you haven't made that decision yet, your business is just going to keep running without it. Because here's the reality. Revenue is the loud number. Revenue gets you on the award stage. Revenue gets you all those extra followers. Revenue gets you the spotlight. But revenue without profit, it's just noise. You can make $1 million and still panic when payroll hits. You can sell out your service and still be living invoice to invoice. And here's the truth that no one talks about. Profit doesn't show up by accident. It shows up by design. That's why step 3 of empowerment design is financial empowerment and profit architecture. Because this isn't about spreadsheets. This is about sustainability. You don't need to become a CFO. You don't need to hire some high-priced accountant who's going to tell you everything that's wrong. You need to build a financial system that protects your time, your energy, and your freedom. Profit isn't about doing more. It's about doing it differently and deciding upfront that your business is going to fund your life, not drain it. Let me show you how we do that. I'm going to give you 3 real shifts that are practical, applicable in any industry. First one, reprice one offering. Just stop right now and ask yourself, when was the last time I reviewed my pricing against what it actually costs to deliver that service? If your answer is anything other than last quarter, you're probably bleeding margin right now. One of the biggest profit killers is assumed pricing. We price based on what we feel the market will bear. We guess based on what our competitors are doing, and we try to stay affordable. But you're not here to run a discount operation. You're here to build a real business. So here's your move. Pick one of your core offerings. Break it down clearly and comprehensively. Start by identifying how much time the offer really takes. Not just your time, but your team's as well. Consider the hands-on labor, the prep work, the follow-up. Then look at the materials or tools that are required to deliver it at a high level of excellence. Are you factoring in software, supplies, equipment usage? And then finally, don't overlook all those hidden hours, all the admin, the back and forth communication, the revisions, all that support that's baked into delivering that service. And when you account for all of this, you stop pricing based on guesses and start pricing based on reality. That's where the real profit begins to come in. Now just add a healthy profit margin to it. And don't back into it, build it right in. One of our clients, a service-based businesses in the trade, was charging $1,200 per job. When we broke down the true costs and time, that number probably should have been closer to $1,650. So we made the shift. And guess what? He didn't lose a single client. But his bottom line profit increased by over $18,000 that quarter just from the one offer. That's how fast pricing correction can change your life. Second idea, redesign your cash flow rhythm. Profit isn't just how much you earn, it's when the money moves. Most owners that I talk to are actually profitable on paper, but they're still stressed out all the time. Why? Because they're paying people every Friday, but they're not getting paid for that until 30 days later. That's not a business model. That's a chokehold. So here's your next move. Shift how and when the money moves. Begin by collecting 50% up front. This immediately reduces your risks and boosts your cash position before work even starts. For larger projects, implement milestones being tied to tangible deliverables, not just arbitrary dates. This ensures that you get paid as value is delivered, not just when the calendar says so. And at the same time, align your payment obligations with those deliverables. Don't pay out before you've been paid in. And wherever possible, renegotiate supplier terms to extend your payment window. This isn't about being aggressive. It's about being strategic and building a cash flow that supports momentum instead of stalling it out. You don't need to be aggressive. You need to be intentional. Another client, Susan, she ran a boutique remodeling agency. She used to invoice only at the end of projects. Clients were always paying her late, and cash flow was constantly short. And you can guess, stress was totally through the roof. So we shifted her structure, deposits at contract, progress payment mid-job, and the final due before the punch list walkthrough. In 6 short weeks, she had more cash on hand than in the previous 6 months. Why? Because she stopped waiting and she started designing. Idea number 3, a weekly profit pulse. Now, let's keep this really simple. Every Monday, 10 minutes. Open up your P&L and ask yourself 3 simple but really powerful questions. What came in this week? What went out? And most importantly, what margin did we keep? This isn't about running a full financial review. It's about establishing rhythm and visibility. When you build the habit of checking these numbers regularly, you stay grounded in reality, you spot problems early, and you can make smarter decisions way faster. Margin awareness isn't a once-a-year exercise. It's a weekly leadership practice that keeps you connected to the health of your business. You don't need a full financial review. You need rhythm. And that visibility leads to power. One founder that I worked with, Jason, he started this exact practice, and within 3 weeks, he found 2 monthly charges that no one could explain. They were legacy tools from a past contractor, $417 a month, that was just draining out. So he cut them, and he applied that money to a local ad campaign. He brought in 2 new clients worth $8,000 combined, all because he looked. So let me say this as plain as I can. Profit is not about luck. It's about leadership. You don't earn it by accident. You install it on purpose. Let me take you inside another business. Anna runs a tech-driven marketing agency. She's got big vision and a big voice. But behind the scenes, she was always 1 invoice behind. She was paying her team late, not because she didn't care, but because she was collecting last. So we did one simple thing. We rebuilt her offer around how cash flow integrity could help her. Deposits, retainers, strict net 7 terms. And she paired it with financial visibility, weekly P&L, tracked margin by service line. Now, the result? In 4 months, she went from reactionary to reserved, and she built her first 6-month cash cushion. She also gave herself a $5,000 a month raise. She finally felt safe in her own company. That's the result of financial empowerment. Not spreadsheets, peace. Now, let's go 1 layer deeper. If you've already repriced one offer, if you've already adjusted your cash flow rhythm, if you're pulling your numbers weekly, what could you possibly do next? Well, you install the architecture of financial clarity into every corner of your business. I'm going to show you how. Build a margin map. Don't guess, get precise. Break your business down and take a clear-eyed look at where the money actually comes from. Which services consistently deliver the highest margins? Which clients, while seemingly valuable, actually drain your team's time and quietly erode your profit? And which offerings look successful on the surface, but are silently leaking time, energy, and resources underneath? Now, this kind of clarity doesn't just improve decision-making, it transforms your entire strategy. Because when you know what truly drives profitability, you can double down on what works and cut loose what's quietly costing you. One contractor we work with reduced his revenue by 11% after cutting low-margin offerings. Yes, lowered it by 11%, but his profit shot up by 47%. Next idea, create a financial signal dashboard. Track 5 to 7 real signals weekly or biweekly. Those are things like cash on hand, job margin, labor efficiency, collection timing. I know Ben, a digital founder, he found a $78,000 leak doing this. No new hires, just one simple dashboard. Visibility changed everything for him. And finally, treat your profit like oxygen. It's not a reward, it's the reason. Ask yourself in every decision, does this protect or erode my margin? Is this adding clarity or creating confusion? Will this help me lead or will it trap me deeper? That's how you stop reacting and start leading. Profit isn't something you check. It's something you architect. Now, you deserve a business that pays you well, that supports your life, that actually funds your future without grinding your present. Here's what you should do. DM me the word profit. I'll send you the exact tool I use to uncover hidden margin, broken pricing, and weak cash rhythms. You don't need a whole new program. You definitely do not need a guru. You just need to start building the business that actually works for you. And we're not done. The next live on Friday, we're diving into designing profit on purpose. We'll talk about how to structure every offering, every contract, and every timeline around predictable, sustainable profit. So you're not just hoping for the leftovers. This is your shift from reactive to responsible, from revenue to reward, and from guessing to clarity. I want to build that with you. So let's go build it together. And I'll see you back here on Friday. Don't miss it.